We've been woken by French fighter jets on an open plain in the United Arab Emirates. We are on an expedition to test the new Jeep Rubicon Level Red in the wilds and wadis of this desert country in the Middle East. We've driven along the river courses, over the rocky plains, and paid homage to the Jeep, and even visited Arabia's largest motor museum, most of it dedicated to four-wheel drives. But now the empty quarter beckons, a vast area of sand sea between the UAE and Saudi Arabia. I'm doing this part with my family, and it's time we refueled and stocked up on some last-minute provisions before setting off into the empty quarter.
Aaron, do you want a peek?
We are now approaching the empty quarter in a region known as Liwa, topping up with fuel, and to the left of the main road is the empty quarter. Miles upon miles of empty nothingness. And that is where we're heading. We've now left civilization, and goodbye civilization, hello sand. This is one vast playground where motoring journalists come to test their vehicles, including those famous chap from Top Gear, Richard Hamad. This is where he filmed his test on the Mercedes-Benz six-wheel drive. Only Coke drinkers will actually understand. Crack a bottle. First sip.
Ajman was telling me that 15,000 years ago, the UAE was tropical, but as in tropical.
15,000 years ago, that's not very long.
And then there was a drought, and the drought was presumably very bad, and it ended up like this. Must have been over a period of time. Anyway, Zayed, the first president founder, researched all this and discovered that this was the case, and he then commanded that 1 million trees be planted, and every farmer had to plant 400 date trees.
When did he make this announcement?
At the founding of the
United Arab
Oh,
Emirates.
the United Arab
Emirates.
Okay.
It was part of and the idea being that perhaps if you plant enough trees you can
reverse
turn the tide.
climate change.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean on there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay then.
Or whatever.
Morib Dune. It is, believe it or not, a drag strip. The vehicles do not start below the dune and get a nice run up before they shoot to the top, which at where I'm standing now is probably realistically 30 degrees. Up there it looks closer to 40 degrees. The ground is very, very soft. The fact that a vehicle can actually get up here at all is phenomenal. Every year in December, this place comes alive with men and stupid, crazy, powerful four-wheel drive machines. And they race time trial to the top of the hill. Down to 1 bar on this lightly loaded vehicle, and the sand from here is going to get soft, and given the temperature, probably very soft in places. We're going to find it a lot easier than the Land Cruiser because we're half the weight and we've got twice the power. Well, this is what we've come to the empty quarter for, to have fun in the sand. And remember, this Jeep is actually built for this market, and this is what they love to do the most. So I'm expecting it to excel. cameras can't be rolling all of the time. I've been driving the vehicle very, very slowly to try and find where its limits are, and I just found them, where I actually kicked up a lot of sand both sides of the vehicle, and I applied the sway bar disconnect, which is a unique feature of the Rubicon. Lets the wheels drop, grab, and that got me out of trouble. Interesting thing though, you know, traveling in the Namib, similar environment, one is very careful where one drives. And follow the track religiously, be careful, be very conscious of the environment. Here, anything goes. There are tracks absolutely everywhere. So in terms of conservation, it doesn't exist, certainly not in this part of the empty quarter. It's a giant playground. My daughters are, two of them are avid YouTubers. Erin, my middle one, is a writer, writing novels. And they're doing a little photo shoot because Erin recently read a book that was based in this part of the world, in the Middle East. And they're camels.
So cute.
So they're doing a little, she does book blogs, you know.
If you want feminism, read the book.
About, mostly fantasy, and she's a fantasy writer herself, so what an appropriate place to do a vlog on that book.
Whoa. Bye. Oh my god. I just got chased by the camels. Is underneath okay? No. Underneath, are you alright? The camels, and they were all lovey-dovey and they wanted cuddles and everything, but as soon as we started to leave, they started chasing and kicking, and we had to run away, and that was very, very scary because it tried to run after us, and my heart's beating really fast.
Very technical dune driving. Between these dunes are they're not called pans, there's no name for them. And you have to go across certain ridges of dunes to get across these large, long, flat areas. And they remind me a little bit of the pans of Botswana, because every now and again you'll have a camel settlement on one of these open plans, and they're completely surrounded by dunes. Sean knows this area very well, and is looking for a campsite on the edge of a dune, on the edge of one of these pans. So the vehicle, I mean, is just walking these dunes. It's such a joy to drive. Plenty of power, and it sounds fantastic.
You can camp anywhere you like. Up to you.
I'm not ready to camp, I want to play a little more.
Here we can play. Let's find a spot, say that's it, and then let's go and play. 3 o'clock, 3 hours of sunlight.
Okay, you pick a campsite, because you camped on, you know where to find nice.
Ching chong cha.
Well, let's do it, that deep red sand there, it's gentle and then it's steep, might be nice for driving on, and that is going to look amazing at sunset. Well, it's 4:30. It's cooling down. It's now 35. Did reach 37, and that was half an hour ago, not long ago at all. Been playing with the Jeep. My overall impressions of the Jeep. It is a consummate off-road vehicle. It is really good, very good, fantastic to drive, and it's made for the dunes. It just eats them up for breakfast. has broken, like the first morning. Blackbird is singing, like the first bird. I think that's how it goes. Cat Stevens. How the colours of the desert change in the morning from the evening. It's getting hot very quickly. It was cool at first light, now getting warm very quickly. It's only 8 o'clock and it will be back to 30 degrees probably by 9 o'clock this morning. So we're going to be deciding what we're going to do this morning. We don't know. We might stay here, play in the sand. We might find somewhere else to camp. It's wonderful sitting here, just people showering, preparing breakfast, and the camels come past. And it struck me that the camel must be the most useful animal on the planet. They're the equivalent of cows. Except cows we milk, eat, and use the skin. With camels, they also ride them. They're beasts of burden, they carry great loads across the desert. They are the only animal that can traverse those great distances without water. They use them in ceremony. They race them. And there's the skin, meat, milk. I wonder if there's such a thing as camel trees. And they name cigarettes after them, and even great 4x4 events like Camel Trophy. That's an impressive resume for one animal.
The Rubicon is equipped with a device called sway bar disconnect. I think it may be unique to this vehicle. I'm going to purposefully get it stuck so I can demonstrate how effective it is.
So I was hoping to give you a demonstration of the sway bar in action when I need it. So that's an interesting lesson. So if I go into reverse now, the vehicle will come straight back without a problem.
It turns out that the Jeep's sway bar disconnect will only disconnect when on a reasonably flat surface. Not like this.
Lock the rear axle, which is locked immediately. That was nice and quick. And let's get out of trouble. Now the sway bar has connected itself. So here's the thing. If the vehicle is very articulated, it's too late to ask for the sway bars to disconnect. So now I'm going to go over with the sway bars connected. I'm going to unlock that rear differential. I'm going to try and go at the same speed. Could I live with a Jeep Renegade? Let's say it's without the level red, as an everyday car. Would I pick the Rubicon as an off-roader? Yes. It's fantastic off-road. It might even be the very best on the market, particularly with a sway bar disconnect. It makes such a difference. Even in this kind of terrain where the axles are working hard all of the time, it's fantastic. And for those of you who don't quite understand what sway bar disconnect is, a vehicle has this bar connected to its axle. When one wheel lifts, it actually lifts the other wheel, and keeping the vehicle flat. This is, of course, the last thing you want off-road, but you want it on-road. So on-road, it's well-mannered. Off-road, it's fantastic because you can disconnect it. So that's an amazing feature. So off-road, as an overlander, not sure. The diesel will be better, but we got 500 kilometers on a tank. That's not bad. That's not bad. Payload's not great for carrying lots of fuel, but it's better than I thought it was at 500 kilometers for a tank. Could I live with it as an everyday car? Come with me and I'll show you one of the things that could be a deal breaker for me. It's got to do with the doors. Now, you might think that it's only a door. Well, if every day there is no way of holding the door open, that would drive me crazy. So, my question to the Jeep fanatics around it, some of you must have come up with a solution. I understand why it's there. The reason why it's there is you can remove the roof. You can remove the doors. So that's why they don't have that catch to hold the door open. Surely some of you have come up with a solution, because I'd buy it first. It's the only thing that has annoyed me about this car. The only thing. The ride on tarmac is good. It surprised me on how good it was. This has got a stiffened up suspension. It's harder than the standard vehicle. And yet, it was acceptable. It didn't worry me. Rough dirt tracks, unloaded, not a nice ride. Load it like we've been. 4 people, bit of stuff in the back, perfectly acceptable, no problem at all. Seats, good. Ventilation, very good. Ventilation for the back, not so good. But considering what the vehicle is built for, it's fantastic. I love it. I'm in love with Jeeps. I never thought I'd say that. Actually, I'm not in love with Jeeps. I don't particularly like the SUVs. I find them actually quite dull. There's nothing dull about this. Early morning on our final day. We're leaving now. Well, actually we're not leaving now because fog has descended around us and we can hardly see 100 meters, probably less, 50 meters in front of us. So driving over the dunes and finding our way out without a good wide visual reference, not possible. So we have to sit and wait until it clears. Utter silence. I can hear the blood pumping through my head. Conclusion for the empty quarter, absolutely magnificent. This is a vast area. We've explored 0.01% of it. It stretches all the way to the Saudi border and well into Saudi Arabia. And this is the country's playground. The Emirates' playground where people come and race cars, race camels, and live it up, desert style. Thank you for watching.